Hey everyone, I'm Nidoking, and it's time for more Altered Destiny. Last time we got a prophecy and put it to some use, and now we find ourselves by a cliff. Well, it seems that a small recessed plate is the important feature in this screen, so let's take a look at it. I think I've seen those shapes before. Those are the shapes of the frags that I'm carrying. So let's try putting them in the holes. Excellent. It doesn't look like much, but a cave has actually opened. And I'm going to take the frags with me. Once the frags are in the plate, I have to point the tube at the frags to pick them up. And in we go. Interestingly, there's another plate here, and some kind of guardian. That's not the face I had in mind, game. Cave mouth, huh? Whatever. Let's just see whether this thing is actually a threat before I go worrying about it. Yep, it'll kill you. So obviously, given the fact that there's another plate in this room, we just need to put the frags that I carefully brought with me in this new plate. Which somehow goes really slowly. And we're done with the tube now. We never need those frags again. So now we can actually explore the inside of the Order of the Jewel, a place where nothing else can kill us. Which is kind of surprising for this game. I mean, there's no edges to fall off or anything. Well, Lantra's in the game, so she's got to be important. Guess we gotta ask her for all kinds of information. There is something specific that I'm looking for here, but I don't know how to get her to tell me. Yes, but I'm sure you need something from me for these crystals. Oh well, I can't think of anything. So let's move on and maybe someone else will give me a clue. There are more people to talk to in the Order after all. And look at all these doors. I do kind of like the music in this room. Okay, well, I'm rapidly running out of places to try to go. And it just loops right back to the entrance. Alright, so the obvious door, which can't possibly be locked because there's no actual door. Okay, yeah, it took me that long before I could even type anything. You gotta wait through the whole animation. Well, we were told that a scroll in the Order of the Jewel had something that we needed. I guess Otto's an Ottoman, right? There's something he's not telling me. Yeah, so this game actually bothers to distinguish asking about from asking for, which is kind of unusual for games of the era, I think. And watch the animation carefully. He's peering inside the scroll, he frowns, he shakes his head sadly. He gives me the scroll, but I don't think he even knows what it says. But I did get it. And this, as we were promised, delves more into the history of the war between the Longas and the Yulas. Although here it just kinda calls the Longa humans. I say that's kind of a stupid thing to do. It's like throwing your house key at someone. Sure, you may manage to deter them, but then how do you get into your house? Clearly we're going to need that jeweled arrow, which is the key to getting into the castle. And this was the closest thing I could find to a clue as to what I need to do here. If it weren't for Lantra, Tauhi would be blinded in his work. Because he can't see very well. You're picking that up, right? I guess maybe if you just look at him, maybe there's a clue there. But I just want him to tell me that he can't see. He's got that monocle holder hanging on his shoulder that doesn't have a lens in it. But alright, we're gonna head back to Lantra after I do my inventory management, because we don't actually need that scroll. We don't even really need to have read it, I don't think. Yeah, that's all fine and good, but just tell me what you need from me for the crystals. It's a thing. I know you can tell me, because this isn't something that I just randomly figured out how to do, I don't think. I don't know, maybe I did. Yeah, I can't ask her for something that doesn't exist yet, can I? I know the solution. I'm trying to find the puzzle. Oh, okay. She's holding these pouches. The pouches are what I need. So I'll ask her about those. They're the same thing. They're pouches of crystal dust. Small round crystal is precisely what I need. Really? Alright, look. Her crystals need water to grow. That's the puzzle. I brought water in a shell from the forest, which is what I give to her. I don't know how to figure that out. See, I don't know how I could see those crystal pouches before. Spelling. So we need to take both of these pouches, because we're going to need them both. The large one, like she said, grows a crystal bridge. And if we throw it anywhere except where we need it, we can't do anything with it, it just disappears. Same thing if we drop it at any point. But any dark room, such as this one, we can drop the small pouch and grow a little round crystal lens. And guess what we do with the round crystal lens? Once I can find the doorway, that is. Alright, we've seen this animation before. Speed it up. Yeah, again, we gotta wait for him to get to the middle of the room, look over at us, look back. Now I can give him the lens. If you give him the lens before you ask him for a scroll, he gives you 2 scrolls, which are exactly the same too. And as you can see this time, there's no sadness, no head shaking. He can read the scroll just fine. And he knows exactly which one I needed. This one I actually do need. This tells you about the Defoil herb, which turns plants into animals. Well, considering that we've found a creature that turns animals into plants, and I think we've got a pretty good idea that we need to have that happen to us, this herb is going to be a vital component in turning back. I hope all the different pieces of this major puzzle are starting to gel for you. It's one of those things you kind of have to do because it's there, and not because you have any idea what is going to benefit you in the end. So we're done in the Order of the Jewel, we never have to go back there, and by leaving the right side, we can head straight back to the crossroads. So we've now explored most of the overworld here. There are a couple of offshoot places we haven't gotten to yet. But, of course, there's still that one nagging direction from the crossroads we haven't been. So I'm going to pare down my inventory to just the things I need, plus the large crystal pouch, which I can't get rid of. So I brought a lot of stuff with me. I don't need the mirror yet. That's an endgame item. Don't need the leaf. Probably don't need the scroll, but I might as well take it with me anyway. Do need the bowl of popcorn for this one. And it's time to head northeast, the final direction that we haven't been from the crossroads, and for very good reason. It would really piss you off if you went this way too early and discovered you weren't ready to do everything you needed. I do love the music, though. Yep, so this is the canyon. This is the part of the game which was a part of every game in this era, particularly the ones with the cursor controls, the arrow keys, where you have narrow pathways things trying to kill you on them, and if you misstep, you die. I think King's Quest III probably had the most infamous one because that had the constant timer running in the background, and a very narrow, twisty path with foreground objects. But this one's really close, and if more people knew about this game, this would be the one that was the example of narrow pathways that kill you all the time. So, you might have seen that ghost thing just kind of fade out of existence because I stood still when I entered the room. So let's see what happens if I start walking once I enter the room with those things. Ah, they're called wraiths. I didn't know what they were called, so I couldn't really look at them properly. So this time I'll actually be able to get a description of them. But you might remember that Vinda's advice when we went into the dream was to stand still and face your fears head on. I mean, this thing doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, the fear wraiths or whatever. But as long as you don't move, they just sort of coalesce into each other and drip down the rocks and puddle in this little bowl formation here. And that's it. We never have to worry about the wraiths again. They're just gone forever. So of course, this is where you actually have to start slowing the game down and make sure that you walk very carefully on these cliffs and save every couple of steps, because you're going to fall off an awful lot. This is something that's been in adventure games since the original King's Quest, and take a look at that. There's a plant growing at the edge of this path, and that's the Defoil herb. It's just sitting right there. If you haven't read the scroll from the Order of the Jewel, PJ doesn't recognize it and won't take it. And you'll have to go all the way back there to get the scroll, and all the way back here to collect it. You really don't want to come to the canyon before you're ready. And also, don't forget your popcorn. I really don't know how I managed to get through this area before when I was just using the 4 arrow keys and not the numeric keypad. Not that the diagonals work really well in this game. I kind of hate them. But there's something. And the foreground objects do have more purpose than just hiding where you are. As you notice, PJ's sprite changes as he passes behind some of them. That's sort of a perspective thing. They can't actually change the size of his sprite. No, not actually the end of the path. Where is the end? Oh, okay, there we go. Now I'm in the next room. I don't want to save because I have a feeling that I'm going the wrong way and I don't have to go all the way back along this freaking path. Then I accidentally hit restart instead of load. Anyway, what the heck was I saying? Oh yeah. It's sort of a trick of perspective that, you know, obviously the character should look smaller as he gets farther away, but they can't really dynamically scale his sprite while he's on the screen, so they use those foreground objects to obscure the size change. So, let's see, one of these paths, I mean, this is the end that forks, so it should be the right way, but this looks like a dead end. Pretty sure there's nowhere to go from there. And I got a funny feeling about the rest of this, but I think we kind of have to move on. Take the other fork. I don't mind it so much when there's a wall at one end of the path or the other, but these paths where there's no wall on either side... Actually, this one might have a wall on one side, it's hard to tell. There aren't all that many colors, so everything just sort of blends together. Nope, this one's a dead end too. Alright, so that way I was going first was the right way. And I made all that progress I could have saved. Get used to that falling animation, especially if you're playing along at home. Admittedly, the mouse controls probably make things a little bit easier, but it's really hard to tell where PJ's actually going to step compared to where you click. And he doesn't always go all the way to where the mouse pointer is. Sometimes you gotta click multiple times. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And I just get the impression that the arrow keys, or at least the numeric keypad, are the way you're supposed to go for this stuff. I mean, this is the artificial challenge in these games. You know, we're probably more than half done at this point. Yeah, I'm just gonna save at least every screen, if not multiple times in the same screen. Yeah, well, that was interesting. Then he falls in front of the path. How cute. I mean, this is not that much... Oh, nice. He kind of follows the path manually, automatically once he gets to a certain point. That's always good. This sort of platforming challenge doesn't really add any intellectual challenge to the game, or any puzzling or reasoning or anything like that. It's really just either a test of reflexes or patience. And this looks really bad. Oh, he does this entire screen automatically. And there's another one of those size-obscuring foreground objects. Makes even less sense when he just automatically follows the path for you. And, yeah, go to the next... No. Alright. At least when he's automatically walking, I can speed things up. It's only when I have to control him that I need to go slowly. And he takes that screen automatically too, which is nice. Now here's the part where one of my friends had to figure out the solution to the puzzle. We need to get up on top of these bones because this is the Eula skeleton that was shot with the arrow. You can hopefully see it over there embedded in that middle skull. Huh. I don't even think I ever realized there was writing on the bones. Anyway, we obviously need to get up on top of the bones in order to get that jeweled arrow. The game thinks I'm talking about the Jewel of Light for some reason. So, in most points in the game, if you type climb and you're not in the right place to climb something, the game will say, what do you want to climb? And if there's nothing to climb, it'll say, there's nothing to climb. This is important, by the way. But in this screen, it says there's nothing to climb if you're in the wrong place. So I thought climbing the bones wasn't right. My friend happened to be standing next to those bones on the right side, where I thought it was the bone in the middle that I wanted to climb. So he managed to get up here, and he also figured out what we need to do next. Because it's not as simple as walking across those sinews up there. We need to drop some stuff. And I just wanted to show you what happens if you drop something. I'm kind of skipping a couple steps of the puzzle here. So the Kleegs, like the description said, stole all of our stuff. They left behind the bowl but ate the popcorn, and one of them seems to have gotten gas from eating the popcorn. Gets all bloated and can't move. Alright, I can't even take a step while I'm up there, can I? I wasn't actually trying to move, it just kind of happened. So if we walk across the sinews now, they break. Yeah, the game doesn't penalize you for having the large crystal pouch in your inventory because, again, we can't get rid of it. If we drop it, it's gone. But we can't carry anything else across this webbing except the jeweled arrow once we've got it. So we need to drop our stuff, but if we do, the Kleegs will steal it. So we need to drop just the bowl of popcorn. Swarm of Kleegs comes by, eats the popcorn, one of them gets gas. Give you another chance to read this because I was talking over it last time. And now I need to drop all the individual things that I've got. And here's me checking my inventory and not even bothering to read it, in which case I would have noticed that I'm still holding the defoil herb. Stupid me. And let's save it up here, just to mean that I have to climb back down when I reload. It's 2007. We do this kind of thing and don't edit it out. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I'm still holding the herb. And I don't think I can drop it up on top of the bones. Not that I would want to, anyway. So we'll drop it down here. Climb back up one more time. And now finally make our way across the bones for real. And to the next screen. Sometimes I just can't figure out what direction the game wants me to press. But I think it's probably the numeric keypad again, and when I press left, for some reason, he tends to go right first. I just don't get it. He doesn't want to go into the next screen, but we're going to force the issue. We have to get over there. And he finally takes a step to the left. And this is a room that we actually have to cross manually. Dying many times along the way, I'm sure. The worst part of it is, you gotta wait until he actually hits the ground, but since he's falling behind the bones, he can't see when that happens. So sometimes it seems like the game is just frozen. And if you slide down, even though it looks like he's sliding slowly and safely to the ground, he still dies. I'd still load even if he had safely reached the ground, though, because I don't feel like going all the way around and climbing up the bones again. Alright, from this point, the game pretty much takes over for us. And we just have to walk across the top of the skull to where the arrow is, grab the thing, there we go. The game finally tells me that when I say jewel, it doesn't think of the jewel that's actually in the game, it thinks it's the jewel that I'm trying to get to at the end. We know that that's the key to the castle. Presumably we're going to the castle at some point. So, back across the skulls, back across the bones, and out of the canyon, and I never have to come here again, which suits me just fine. Because seriously, this place is more annoying than it deserves to be. I still do like the music, though. Alright, now we gotta walk up the spine. And it's not even angled so that the diagonal walk with the numeric keypad will get me there. You know what? I'm done here. We'll pick up from here next time, and I'll get out of the canyon and move on with the game.